Alright, here's my first Yochlol. So first, real quick, I just cut me out a base. Did by 4x4, but I cut the base just a little bit smaller than that. And just get you some hot glue, put in the center of that, throw you a matchstick on it, or a hobby stick, and hot glue that on there, and then you have something to hold it to turn it to get the sides, and you won't have to worry about burning yourself. And also painting. It makes it for a little bit better paint job. Don't get it all over your fingers. Then you got that tacky poster tack that you put posters up. It's a great little thing. You can just stick your stick in there and let it dry. And it's dry, pull it off, just break it right off. Pull the extra hot glue off the back if there's any. Then we're just going to give our base some texture. With some hot glue, throw it on there. Rough it all up. Then while it's still hot, get a little bit of your black sand and just sprinkle on there, pat it in, and let it dry. Then we get your clay, and this is just air dry clay. So figure out how much you want, knead it together real well, and then roll it in a ball. And then sort of make a cylinder out of it, sort of making the top side a little bit thinner than the bottom. Start moving the top to make that indentation that's in the top of the Yochlol's head. And then, stretch it out. Make it nice and thin. That's what I'm doing here. Just stretch it. Don't stretch too hard to break it. Keep it together, and then give it that little, that you see in the picture, you see it have that little turn, that little twist in its body. And then don't worry if you think your bottom's too fat, because you're just going to pull that down and make your legs, the little tree root like legs. And if you don't have enough clay in the bottom to pull down, then just get you some more and add to it. But just shape them how you want. You can do more than 3 if you want. I did 3 to keep it where it had a good base to itself to sit right. And just sort of twist it over. I made sure it was like looking sideways how it is in the picture. Then just get you a matchstick or a dental scraping stick. You'll see me use that later. And just make the mouth. Just push this in there, pull it out, push it up a little bit, sort of make the lips of it. Just work it. And I do got this speeded up a little bit, so don't think I'm super fast in clay modeling here. Don't spend too much time right here on them lips yet, because you're going to be handling it. You're going to have to fix it later. And I use the pen for the eyeballs. Now if you use where the writing part of the pen comes out and poke it, you'll automatically get eyeballs. But I didn't really like that because it was just too much space around the eyeball. It's too perfect, so I just used the other push part and flattened that out and made an eye socket, because I'm going to put eyeballs in there myself. And then just reshape from holding it. Make sure you don't mess it up too much. Here's where I use that dental scraping tool. Get a cheap set of those at Harbor Freight. Just little picks. Get you a real tiny piece, round it off, make an eyeball, and then we're just going to insert that in the eye socket. I did this here, but I had to take it out because the surface is getting a little dry, so you don't have to wet it a little bit. So I just use a little spit, wet it, and put it in the eye socket. If it's too dry, you might have to get a clean paintbrush and put some water in the eye socket and around there, so when you push it to it and it dries, it will harden up. Make sure it can stand on its own. You get your wire. I cut 2 of these 4 inches long, and this is going to be for its tentacles. And I cut one that's about 2 inches for the one that comes out around the nose area. If that's supposed to be his nose or just another tentacle, but anyway. But I just take these 4-inch ones and pretty much push them straight through. But as this one I put down at an angle, and I'll sort of, with the next one, sort of start from the back just a little bit more than I did the first one, and go up with it. I went a little bit too much at an angle. You can see it come out, but that was like almost right at its mouth. So you just pull out and push it through where you want it, and then you just pat it down with the finger to fix where you poked it out at. Above his top lip, and I'm gonna almost push that almost out the back, but I don't want it to go all the way out the back. That way it'll have a pretty good seat inside there. And just adjust everything, make sure it's how you want it, because now we're going to let it dry. And I let this thing dry for about 2 days. Needle nose pliers, and just sort of work your tentacles how you want them, in any shape or direction, or curls or loops. Or, if you want to look like it just jumped out and surprised you, just leave it like it is with its all arms spread all out. But that's the nose. I just sort of tilted that down, and it's the shorter one. And just work them where you want them. And remember, you can cut some of this off if you end up thinking it's too long. There's another view of the top, just sort of working it around. Just be careful, because even though this clay is dry, the hole's just dry that the wires go through, so they'll move back and forth. They will come out. If they just come out on you, that's okay. You can just slide them back in. We're going to secure them with a little hot glue here in a little bit. Just take your time working it. Try not to give it an angle in there too much. And then once you get it done, you can sort of maneuver it around with your hand. Sort of curve it out a little bit more. I just put pressure on the other side of the wire while I tried to maneuver it so it would stay still on me. Once you get them where you want them, just put a little hot glue around the holes. And then you're just going to slowly run the hot glue, letting out just a little bit and covering the wire. And remember, I sped this up just a little bit. Once you do them all, let them dry. And then you're going to want to go back over and do the other side where you might see some wire. And then just keep looking once that dries, and if you have any wire showing, go back over with a little bit until your wires are completely covered in hot glue. Then I put a little dab in the top of his head and then sort of brought some down like a drip. Just slime or whatever he has. And hit him around his upper lip, a little clob, and just bring it down. And then I just randomly, put some coming out of the cracks on the top of the head. And you can put as much or as little as you want. If you really want to make him ooey gooey, just really cover him. You could cover him all in hot glue and just let it drip everywhere, and then put another drip on it. Sort of like I did with the giant ooze on one of my other videos. Just let it run down. But I used a coffee latte color, sunny yellow, and a little daffodil yellow because it's got a little darkness to it. And you might be able to just use yellow and brown, or just buy a mustard color. And I just mixed that all up till I got the color I wanted, sort of a mustard color. And then just throw on the paint. Make sure you get all the arms underneath and above and in the cracks and crevices. Just give them a good paint job. And sometimes when you're painting the hot glue parts, instead of dragging the brush, just pat the brush on there and it won't leave some clear spots. Or if you just have the paint thick enough, you'll be alright. Alright, once you get them all painted, just give them a once over, make sure everything's done, and let them dry. Then just get a little white and paint his eyeball. Just get a little red with the model paintbrush, the dot in the middle of the eye. And this is a wash, really thin. Just dip him in it. Give a couple blows on him, make sure there's no big puddles on him. Shake him off and set him to dry. After he's dry, you get your base. Get a little bit of hot glue. I put enough on there to where I know when I push it down, it's going to pretty much cover all the bottom surface and get into those grooves that I made on the base. Push him down, let him dry, and there he is. ready to take on the party. But what is this sneaking up behind them? Is this some kind of spawn of the Yochlol? But we'll see. We'll do the make for this guy and make up a monster character sheet. Well, thanks for joining us on this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you go out and make you a Yochlol. Make sure you have you a drow or a spider to go along with it, because they are shape changers. Please hit the like button. If you hadn't subscribed, subscribe. Hit the little bell if you want to keep up with new videos. The table calls. Keep gaming.